Welcome, and thanks for joining me. Today, I want to give you a little update on my Wroncho project. In the first video of this series, I painted these chassis rails, and just want to show you what all has been added and where we're hopefully heading next. Okay, the chassis in the first video, I painted this bright yellow color. Kind of a yellow-orange, kind of this bright yellow there on the screen. But I painted it and went through the steps I needed to do that. Then from there, I assembled the chassis using a Fish's Crawler Part skid plate, one of the smooth ones, the high clearance. And I used Fish's Crawler Parts chassis braces. On the Fish's Crawler Parts skid plate, I have an axial transmission and a Holmes Hobbies Trailmaster Sport 27 turn. It's a 550 motor. The links themselves are stainless steel links. I was told these are Vanquish links. I'm not sure if they are or not. They were just on a bomber that I'd had before. And I'd taken them off it and used them on this project with these AR-60 axles off the same bomber. The links all mounted pretty good to the stock locations in this homebrew chassis from 149 RC Works. With the exception of the rear links, I had to make this little bracket here. This is common anytime you build a Wroncho, especially if you use the stock chassis, you will have to make link mounts for the uppers, just so you have a decent drive shaft angle. Speaking of drive shafts, it's the Wild Boar 8s, front and rear. The axles themselves are the AR-60s. Inside the axles is Jim's bearings, Boom Racing Chubs and Knuckles, as well as steering links on the front. On the rear is, I'm not sure who made this skid plate, but got one of those on the rear. They came with the axle and a set of Boom Racing lockouts. And once again, Jim's bearings inside. The guts themselves are stock internals. For now, anyway. Bomber shocks with race springs that are slightly shortened. I think one coil was taken off of them. To mount these shocks, I used a set of RPM shock towers with the tower part cut off, mounted them to the rail, and then mounted the shock to that shock mount on the RPM piece, and that way I can use the RPM body mounts. This transmission right here has hot racing gears inside of it, but this case I'm going to go ahead and do away with. I had to put some inserts in the bottom of this case because the holes were stripped out. And that's fine, but I sided with the big block, and in fact I have a heavy throttle finger. I want to go ahead and replace this case, and I'm going to replace it with one of these. If you check out the Ugly Duckling playlist, I put one of these transmission cases in it. These are really cheap. I paid $8 for this one, shipped. They vary anywhere between $7 and $13 on Amazon, just depending on when you're looking at them. I liked it so well, I bought another one for this vehicle, and I have another one coming for my next project after this project. So if you're looking for a good cheap transmission case, check out the Trio on Amazon. In front of the transmission, you'll notice a Corrupt Carbon Works battery tray. This is where I'll be running a 1300 3S LiPo. I made the tops of the link mounts flat. I used an L bracket to do this. This way I can mount my electronics a tray across there and mount my electronics like receiver on one side and ESC on the other. I'll mount my receiver opposite the motor because I will use a waterproof case. I don't plan on driving in water and mud, but somehow I always end up in it. Something you might notice about this chassis is that it pinches in as it comes forward. It also does the same towards the rear. It's because I'm running narrower braces, chassis braces, than what the skid plate is. This was done intentionally because I want the chassis to squeeze in at the front and the rear. This will give a little bit extra clearances. Because of the body I'm running, I think it'll fit better than being wide as well. Or at least the body I have planned. Let's see how that goes. But that's why the chassis looks like it's bent a little bit. Why it looks like the transmission here is setting sideways and crooked. It's because the chassis rail is bending inward. For tires and wheels, I'm running these BF Goodrich Baja TAs from Proline Racing. Inside these tires is a set of foams from Crawler Innovations. And these tires and foams ride on a set of RC World bead locks. I also have the center caps for these bead locks, just do not have them put on yet. They hold a tire very well, by the way. I've used these beadlocks in the past on that aforementioned bomber project. Next up is to get the electronics mounted in this and then get a body for it. And she's almost ready to run. I also want to get a front bumper for it. Might make a set of sliders and maybe a rear bumper as well. What's the body on this going to be? Well, you just have to check out our Instagram to see. The link to it's down below, as well as links to our Facebook page. If you have any questions or comments, you can post them here on our Instagram, Facebook, or email us. That link also is down below. Please also subscribe so you don't miss any future updates to this truck or any of our other projects. And go ahead and make sure you like this video. Until next time, happy RCing.